Hi, this is Andrew Berman from National Mortgage Professional Magazine and Mortgage News Network. Thank you for joining us on the first DealDesk. DealDesk was created because we've noticed that there's a lot of innovative products that have come to the marketplace, and there's a lot of originators that are out there using the products, but there's also a lot of originators, a lot of brokers out there that just keep asking questions. They're not comfortable with selling actually anything other than Fannie Freddie FHA programs. And when we came up with this, we said let's go to actually a handful of lenders, and we have a handful of lenders that we're going to be introducing to you. One of the first ones we thought is Angel Oak. Angel Oak has done an unbelievable job of coming up with some really innovative products. The products actually that the Angel Oak has had, they've had such success with. The brokers that are using them are really, really loving them. When we came up with this concept, we went to Mel. Mel is going to be joining us in just a little bit, but went to Mel and said, listen, we want to actually run scenarios by you, because we keep hearing people saying, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? And we said, all right, Mel, we're going to get you on a conference call. We're going to have a couple of our readers on there, and that's the genesis. Mel, if you could do me a favor, I want you to talk a little bit about Angel Oak. Talk about yourself too. Welcome to the DealDesk.
Thank you, Andrew. Well, my name is Mel Frere. I'm a VP of Sales with Angel Oak. I've been with the company since 2013, and Angel Oak is a non-QM lender. We have offices in Atlanta and now Dallas. And we started this in 2013 to offer programs to those borrowers that were getting turned down. So it's a way for loan officers to have options for the borrowers instead of losing those loans, and a way to increase their business. So we're going to kind of talk about the bank statement program today, how you can offer it to your borrowers, and how you can use these programs to go out and increase your business.
Fantastic. Great. Can you tell us a little bit about Angel Oak?
Well, like I said, in 2013, we started this, specializing in non-agency. So up until that point, there weren't many options if you didn't qualify for agency loans. We're a vertically integrated company, which means our funds buy our own loans. That gives us a lot of flexibilities when we underwrite these loans. We've done multiple securitizations. We're getting ready to do our biggest one yet in the next couple of weeks. And when we've started this platform, it was based on customer service. We wanted to put together something that our customers found it easy to work with. We didn't want to make it hard on our customers where they thought these non-agency loans are hard to do. So if you'll see on the screen, it says we can close your file in 70 to 21 days. That happens all the time. One of the things we say over here, if your file takes longer than 21 days, we're waiting on the customer to get us the conditions. It's not on our end. So 5 years later, here we are, and appreciate the opportunity to kind of talk about the bank statement programs.
I think the vertical integration thing is an important thing, because I think of it, one of the disconnects that we had with the mortgage mess is those who are securitizing the loans weren't fully attached to those actually that were out in the street. And you guys actually have fully integrated, where you have actually, you're connected to the people on the street, the brokers that are out there that are submitting you loans, and you're securitizing these, record-breaking deals, which is just phenomenal seeing what you guys are doing.
It gives us a lot of flexibilities, and we've been very fortunate having close to 5 years of doing this. Our loans have performed. So we're growing. I don't know if you're following us. We're growing by leaps and bounds. So it's a good time to be involved in the non-QM industry.
Yeah. So listen, let's just go into some general requirements about doing business with Angel Oak.
Okay. So we're focusing on the bank statement program today. So first and foremost, this is a program for self-employed borrowers. This is not for a wage earner. So you have to be self-employed and a minimum credit score of 600. What we found is that most bank statement borrowers are people that have pretty good credit. Our average FICO on these loans is in the high 680s, 690s, even 700. So it's interesting to see that a lot of these people that don't qualify for full documentation have very good credit. We have a loan amount minimum of $150,000, and we'll actually go up to $3 million at an 85% LTV, $2.5 million at a 90% LTV on a bank statement loan, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
On these loans, you cannot have any bankruptcies, foreclosures, short sales, or deed in lieu in the last 24 months. Okay. Unlike our non-prime product, where you can be 1 day out, but this is a bank statement program, so it's a little more stringent requirement on that. And one of the neat things on this program is if you have a borrower with a BK13, we can use the filing date as long as the BK was discharged and paid as agreed on our Portfolio Select program. So that allows a borrower, you can actually have a borrower that had a bankruptcy discharge a couple months ago, and he was still qualified for this program.
Fantastic. So listen, let's dig a little into the bank statement program.
Okay, so we have two options for our customers. We have a business bank statement product, and we have a personal bank statement product. So let's start off with the business bank statement program. It is a 24-month business bank statement program. You use one account to qualify. The second bullet there is very important. Your borrower must be 100% owner of the business. So that's one of the things that we really want to ask up front to make sure if the borrower is 100% owner of the business. If the borrower is not 100% owner of the business, the other option that they can use is our personal bank statement program. So that's where you see check your state website to determine if the borrower is 100% owner of the business. In this program, we require, along with the worksheet and the bank statements, a third-party prepared expense ratio letter. And if you can't get that, we also allow a self-prepared P&L that obviously must be less than 90 days old at the time of closing.
Wow. Very cool. So go into a little bit of the personal bank statement program.
The personal one, you use 12 months bank statements to qualify, use one account to qualify. We do allow transfers from one business account into the personal account, as well as deposits. Very important, all borrowers appearing on the bank statements must be on the loan. We don't allow non-occupying co-borrowers to be on this program. And if they show up as a POD, they do not have to be on the loan. What we're going to kind of see in a few seconds is how easy these loans are. One of the things that we kind of hear sometimes is some customers out there think that these loans are actually hard to do. So we're kind of going to show how, to the contrary, these are pretty easy loans to set up on the front end.
Great. So, listen, it's all about, the data and, where do you go? Do you have to talk to an underwriter? So if you're looking at a scenario, talk a little bit about that process.
Okay, so before we get to the worksheet, we're going to get to our website in a few minutes. And our website allows you to get a quote for your bank statement loan. And if you want to proceed, it allows you to submit the loan for a pre-qual. Once you submit the loan for a pre-qual, uploading a 1003 and credit report, you will forward the bank statements to your account executive, who will review the bank statements and will review the 1003 and credit report. And the account executive will tell you, does your borrower qualify for this program? If they do, they will then send out the worksheet to the loan officer who fills out the worksheet. And then the loan officer and the account executive review the worksheet together. And they come up with a number for income. And that is the income that we will use for the pre-qualification. It's that easy. So what we're going to see now is when we go into the worksheets, we're going to see how that process works and show how easy that is. If you can go to the personal one.
The personal one, yeah. All right, so here's the personal one.
Okay, so this is a personal bank statement worksheet. And pretty much, as you can see there, all you need to do is put in your 12 months of gross deposits per month. The first month has a drop-down menu, so this worksheet, depending on the month, all you do is you drop down and pick the month you want to start out with. In the middle section, you'll see where it says deposits to be excluded. So if you notice in November, and this is one of the things that our account executives are trained to look for, where are the numbers that don't look exactly more or less like the other ones? Yeah. In November 2017, it's a little higher than regular. In October 2017, a little higher. In this instance, there was a $2,500 transfer from a savings account. In 1 month, there was a $500 transfer from a savings account. We back those out because that's not income. A transfer from a savings account to a checking account is not income. And in October 2017, there was a motorcycle sold for $13,500. A sale of an asset is not income, so we back that out. And then you see there was another $500 transfer back in May 2017. Once you transfer anything out, on the lower right-hand corner, you have your income. I'm unable to see it right here. Are we able to see? There it is. So in this instance, it's $8,168, and that's pretty much it. Once the loan officer and the account executive reach an agreement that this is the income that qualifies for this loan, we're going to do the pre-qualification based on that, and we're going to submit the file based on these numbers. And we're talking about an investment of no more than 10 minutes on behalf of the loan officer.
So, Mel, if you got a husband and wife, and let's say wife owns a business, the husband is a wage earner, how does that play into the scenario?
Okay, that's a great question. So let's take, for instance, we had a situation where the husband is maybe a part-time teacher, and his income is going into this bank statement. Because this is a self-employed income worksheet, all we would do is back out let's just say they're getting $2,500 a month for wage earner income. We just back it out. As you notice, our qualifying income just reduced to $5,668 for the self-employment income.
Yeah.
But however, we can still use the husband's $2,500 on the 1003. We will not pull transcripts or tax returns. We'll just need to review the W-2s. So it's all we need to do is back it out on the worksheet, but we can use both incomes.
Fantastic.
So great question.
That's great. All right, and let's go into your business bank statement worksheet.
Okay, the business bank statement worksheet. If you'll notice, right at the top, per your state website, is the borrower 100% owner of the business. So let's figure that out up front, because if he isn't, that could be an issue. There are some times that we have some leeway, but this program mostly wants your borrower to be 100% owner of the business. And this one, you're also going to put in your gross deposits over a period of 24 months. So if you notice, this one already has all the deposits placed in there. Looking at the worksheet, you immediately see that January 2018 has a lot more deposits than anything else. Over here, we have deposits to be excluded. We had a business loan of $150,000, so we're going to exclude that from here. And in November 2016, there was also a large month, and there was a sale of an asset, and this is incorrect, so let's go ahead and take that out of there. All right, so the way this works is we're asking the loan officer, the borrower, to give us an expense ratio letter from their accountant, CPA, tax preparer. And all we're doing is, once we have that expense ratio number, we're going to put it in this box. So let's go ahead and say that this business expense ratio is 45%. Once we do that, if you notice, your income just pops up right there. Okay, one important thing that we need to make sure we understand here is that the expense ratio has to be common for the business. Okay, so we are looking to make sure that expense ratio is in line with the type of business that the borrower is involved in. Okay, so one thing I will say, any expense ratio that's less than 35%, your worksheet is going to default to 35%. So we want you to tell us what the expense ratio is for your business, because we understand some businesses have higher expense ratios, others have less. Yep. But we want to know the expense ratio. So, and we are going to make sure that it is common for that type of business. But as you notice, let's go back a second. This is, again, an investment in time of maybe 10, 15 minutes from the loan officer. The account executive is going to work with the loan officer to review these numbers. They're going to review the bank statements and the worksheet. And once we identify where we're at, there's our income for qualifying purposes. And again, this number will change based on whatever the expense ratio is. But that's it. That's how simple it is. And at that point, we put out a pre-qual, and you're ready to go on to our website and submit the file.
Fantastic, great. So listen, Mel, I want to take 15 minutes to go into some scenarios. I really want to get everyone in and out of this webinar in 30 minutes, and we got a handful of scenarios that have already been submitted to us. We're not going to be able to cover everything, but whatever we don't get covered, we will send the responses to the individuals, whoever is not answered. So let's go right into the first question. Personal and business bank statements. Does this program allow you to use both personal and business bank statements? Obviously it does. Can you use a mix, and talk a little bit about that?
Well, we actually get this question a lot. The key here is we either do personal or business. We cannot combine the two, because in that situation we'd be double counting, where you have money going into the business bank statements, maybe transferred to the personal bank statements, so we're double counting. So it's either one or the other. But yes, we can do either or, just not combined.
Great. So next question, and I don't know, there was a number of people that asked about Uber drivers. So Uber driver, borrowers drives for Uber. Uber, is this something you could use a bank statement program for?
Absolutely. Obviously, the Uber drivers are 1099s, they're independent contractors. We would need a letter from the company stating that they've been driving for a period of minimum of 2 years. They have to be self-employed for 2 years. So yeah, we do those all the time.
Fantastic, great. All right, so now this next one. Mel, we got a first-time home buyer, great credit, 8 years, self-employed. Borrowers maintain a good credit history, not a single derogatory item on their credit profile. Borrowers as self-employed for 8 years. The borrower monthly income is over $14,000, based on 2-year average of bank statement, personal bank statements.
So that's exactly the type of borrower that probably couldn't get a loan a few years back. And we were able to get a loan for this first-time home buyer. Obviously, the first-time home buyer has to have some sort of rental history. We're not going to do a loan for a bank statement loan for somebody who's rent-free. But if they show us that they have rental history, paying on time, we do these loans all day.
Great. Okay, so real estate broker and investor. Self-employed borrower is a real estate broker, owns 18 mortgage rental properties, looking to acquire more properties, great credit scores, high 600s, low 700s, perfect payment history, high credit card debt.
Okay, so on these programs, talking about debt, we'll do, we can go case by case up to a 50 back-end DTI. So obviously we're going to pay attention to that. This one gets a little tricky because on the bank statement program, we cannot wash the rents. So the income on the bank statement program has to cover any and all mortgages.
Right.
So in this situation right here, if this person, if the mortgages were low and the income is high, it's probably something we could do. But if he has 18 mortgages, it's probably something that may be a bit too much for the income to cover. But if it does, we can still do it.
Great. Okay, so this next one, foreign national, and I know this is something you guys do really well with. Foreign national, self-employed, living abroad, foreign national that's self-employed, and they're going to be able to put a 50% down payment.
Okay, so sometimes we get the foreign national question as it relates to the bank statement program, but this one actually falls under our foreign national program. So we have a foreign national program up to 75% loan to value. A couple things on that program real quick. We'll go down to $75,000 loan amount. We allow the borrower to keep their reserves in their home country, which is a big deal. And again, this one falls under foreign national and up to 75% LTV.
Fantastic. Okay, so next one, non-owner refinance, rate and term, single family, 70% LTV, 640 FICO in Los Angeles, light doc or stated.
Okay, so we have two options on this one. We don't have a stated product. We do have an investor cash flow product, which uses the rent roll to qualify the borrower. On that program, we can go up to 80% LTV. And there is no income or employment on that application. But what I want to do is I want to go to our website and kind of show you how we would price this out and what our options would be on this loan. Okay, so this is our home page, and if you've been on our home page at the bottom right, you have the quick quote option as well as our pre-qual request option. So we're going to go ahead and click on our quick quote real quick. It's going to ask you for the name of your company, so let's just go ahead and put AOMS for this example. And if I remember correctly, we're talking about a credit score of 640. So you just kind of choose the options. Loan amount 130 to 453. I think the LTV was 70%. Yeah. Clean housing history. It was a rate and term refi. Yeah. And they wanted to go bank statements. So if we do that, there's our program right now at 70%. It tells you right here that your borrower does qualify up to 85% LTV, and your borrower paid rate is at 6 1/8. Now, anytime you change any information up here, for instance, your program parameters in the bottom are going to change, and you're going to have more options. So anytime you're changing anything up top, your options at the bottom are going to change. The neat thing is once you have an option that you'd like to proceed with, there's a little button right here, which is requesting a pre-qualification. You would click this button, and it takes you to the pre-qualification page. And here's where you would send your loan scenario to get pre-qualified. You'd go to the drop-down menu, choose the account executive, and once you choose your account executive, answer a couple questions. At the bottom of the page, you're going to upload your 1008, your 1003, and your credit report. Add any notes that you'd like us to know, and click submit. When that happens, the account executive immediately gets an email that a pre-qual has just been uploaded, and at that point, they have 24 hours to get that pre-qual back to our loan officers. Sometimes it's going to be the same day, sometimes it'll be the next day, but we want to get that pre-qual out within 24 hours. You don't have to upload any bank statements here, because again, that's going to be done after the account executive reviews the file and says to the loan officer, I reviewed your file, your borrower does qualify, go ahead and send the bank statements, let's start the review process.
Fantastic. So, listen, great products. How do we sell this? What are you guys doing to help the brokers that are working with you guys market these products to look like the heroes in their local communities? Because I know, listen, everyone's selling the same mortgages. You know, if you can come in here with something unique that no one else has, you know, if you have, you know, foreign national programs, if you got, you know, the programs that we're talking about here, how do you sell it?
Okay, so you just kind of hit on something that's very important. This is a great way to use our products to go out there and market in your community to realtors, financial planners, CPAs. Just alone on the bank statement program, I imagine you can go to your accountants and say, hey, do you have any self-employed borrowers that aren't able to qualify for loans? We have programs for them. So if you log into our portal, we have our flyers that you yourself can actually download and put your logo on, in your logo, your information, and you can use our flyers to go out there and market in your community, whether it be to realtors, like I said, financial planners, CPAs. A great way to also go out there and establish, meet new people, because you're going in there and you're not just talking about the same old, we have low rates and great customer service. You're actually saying, hey, Mr. Realtor, I have some programs. Are you losing any buyers? I have programs to save your buyers. And once you establish that relationship, you're not only going to get these loans, you're also going to get their A-paper loans. So a great way to establish relationships with people you haven't done business with up to this point.
And I keep hearing people talk about these being two for the price of one.
Absolutely. And the reason you hear that is, think about it for a second. A lot of these buyers that are qualifying for non-QM loans, their credit's going to get better. So at some point, they're going to be able to qualify for an agency loan, and you're able to refinance that buyer at that point. But up until that point, they're going to be able to get into that house at this point, so they don't have to wait a year or two where the property values go up. They get to reestablish credit. They get to build equity. So it's a win-win for everybody involved.
So do you find this very, very common with real estate agents? I mean, I got to imagine, you know, brokers are trying to do whatever they possibly can to win over the hearts of real estate agents. You know, real estate agents took a beating, and I got to imagine this is very popular with real estate agents.
Well, I tell you, it's interesting that we still find some real estate agents that don't even know these programs exist. And it gives the loan officer an opportunity to be a hero, because you're offering something that sometimes these real estate agents don't know exists, and they're losing deals because their borrowers don't qualify. So not only they don't need to lose these deals, but the loan officer is going to be a hero with them.
Fantastic, great. All right. So listen, I think that pretty much wraps up all the scenarios that we have. That there are some other very specific questions that were sent in, and they will be addressed directly. You know, Mel, I thank you for taking the time to meet with us. If anyone's looking to get a hold of you directly, what's the best way to do that?
My number is 786-208-4169. Again, that's 786-208-4169. And if you go to our website, if you click on Florida, Texas, the states that I'm involved in, my information will be on there also, which I think we forgot to show how to look for the account executives on the website.
Oh, that's right.
Do that real quick.
If you wouldn't mind.
No, not at all. All right. So if you go to find an AE, we have a map. So for instance, you just click on the state. And once you click on the state, you're going to have all the account executives in that state. Here's my information. So if anybody needs to reach me, there's my phone number. Here's my email address. That'll take you straight to my email. And each state has a list of the account executives in that state on the map.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Mel, thank you again. And to our readers, thank you for joining us. Thank you for reading. Thank you for watching Mortgage News Network. Have a great day.
Thank you, Andrew. Thanks for having us.